Hi, and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Today we are having the post contest analysis of Geeks for Geeks Weekly Coding Contest 109. So, before we move forward, let me just tell you the feedback about the contest. This contest seemed to be a little bit towards the harder side. Like, if we start off with the very first problem, like a beginner doesn't really knows the basic concepts of trees. He is not expected to do that. But even the first problem was from the concept of tree. But I don't think the entire amount of knowledge is required for the first question. Just the idea that tree is present, like you don't need to implement tree, but it could scare a beginner if they see the first question. Now, moving on to the next question. Next question was a kind of DP based problem. Okay, like you need to guess that yes, how it can be done. Basically, a rigorous amount of test cases needs to be written. The second problem was very good balanced. The last problem was also a kind of good problem if you have already solved up the problems like n meetings in a room, maximum meetings, like all the greedy problems out there on the internet. Then this problem would have been a little bit easy. Okay, like the maximum number of minimum platform problem, minimum platform ones. Okay, like if you have solved these all problems, then this problem would be easy. So how many problems were you able to do? देखते हैं कितने कर पाते हैं. और सब बढ़िया. ओके. सब्सक्राइब इंस्टेड लाइक. ओके. काफी यूनिक है. हाय भवन, हाउ आर यू? Technological Vivek, but my idea got failed. No issues. Okay, for the first time, I found all the questions were very hard. Yep, to be honest, it was. I agree. So, first problem was simple range based problem. It wasn't simple. Okay, it wasn't simple to be honest. Okay, 2 out of 3, zero, sir. Okay, just one. Okay, 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 okay. चलो ध्यान से easily आराम आराम से समझते हैं. To be honest, the second problem was towards the harder side. Okay, just let me tell you. Okay, so now let's start from the very first problem. अरे, yeah. So this is the problem. Yeah. So now let me present my screen. Entire screen present हो गया. And ये हुआ, and I would go to this. And yep, it's done. So now let's see the very first problem. The very first problem is there are some terminologies of tree. Okay, the terminologies are that there is a root of a tree. Okay, there is a root of a tree, and there are some children of the tree. Okay, some children of the trees. Okay, so आई वुड जस्ट टेल यू व्हाट दिस इज ऑल अबाउट. जो सबसे ऊपर रहता है, जो सबसे बड़ा मालिक रहता है, द हाईएस्ट रैंक्ड वन. ओके, ही इज नोन एज द रूट ऑफ द ट्री. whenever you visualize tree, try to visualize it in the form of family tree. तो हमारा पूर्वज का सबसे पुराना आदमी जो था वही हमारे पूरे फैमिली का रूट था. In the same manner, the person who was the very first person in our whole family tree is considered to be as the person who started off. So started off, jahan se start hoga, is known as the root. The immediate next nodes, this is known as nodes. Ye sare are known as nodes. Okay, everything, these all are nodes. Okay, just let me see. Yep. So these all are nodes itself. Okay, these all are nodes. Okay, now the very next thing is, this is the child of the root node. So this is the what child? Right child. Okay, right child, and this is the left child of the root node, and these are known as the leaf nodes. Okay, just the information of all this is enough. So I should be clear with the basic: what is root, what is left child, what is right child, what is leaf node, and this is done. So basically in this question you are asked that, and there is one more thing which is known as the level of the tree. So basically I missed it, that is to be mentioned in the question. So what is basically level of the tree? So I would tell you that most of the time this is level 1, okay, this is level 1, this is level 2, this is level 3. Many a times it might happen that the level of the root node is 0, like the counting starts from 0. Many questions starts the counting from 1. Here the counting starts from 1 itself. Now let me just check if the stream is good enough or not, like my और सब बढ़िया. Okay, let me just see. यार बहुत ads आने लगे. Okay, good enough. So now see. So this is what it is. Now the question tells us that each node would produce how many child? Each node would produce level plus one child. Each node would produce level plus one child. So it would look something like this. 1. So the level of 1 is how much? The level of 1 is, now let me just have change paper, and this is good enough. So let's say this is level 1, this is level 2, this is level 3, like this is level 4, if we can go move forward to till that one. So what I can do is, let's say this is 1. So this node 1 would produce how many child? Level plus 1. What is the level? Level is 1. So this would produce 2 child. So 1 would produce child 2 and 3. Okay. 1 would produce the child 2 and 3. Now the very next thing is 2 and 3 would produce how many child? 2 plus 1, that is 3 child. Okay. So 2 would produce 3 child. Okay. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Now 3 would produce how many child? 4. I would only draw 1, okay, because it would be very haphazard. Okay, so the last one I would just draw one part of it. So let's say this is 9, 10, 11, 12, and this is 13. This is how the tree would look like. Okay, so now if you observe, like how to find out the answer, this is the understanding of the question. But now it is told, given a value n, you need to find out the level in which it is there. Let's say the given value is 8, so the answer for that would be level 3. So for 8 the level would be 3. Let's say this is input and this is output. So if the given input is 8, so the output would be 3. If the given input is 5, the output would be 3 again. If the given input is 10, the output would be 4. Given input is 10, output would be 4. If the given input is 2, the output would be how much? It would be 2. Okay. So now, how would we really find out at which level the person is standing? It is very easy. Okay. Why? Because if you see, we can just brute force it. And just why brute force would solve the purpose? Let me just show you that also. The first node would contain 1, the second node would contain 2, the third node would contain 2 multiplied by 3, 2 multiplied by 3, 6. The next node would contain 6 multiplied by 4, that is 24, 24 multiplied by 5, which would be kind of this. Okay, so this multiplication is getting bigger by bigger. So it would be even less than log base 2n. Okay, so you can simply do it. This is the intuition why the brute force even works. Okay, now the idea is, how would we really find out? finding out the solution is a little bit easy. I would tell you why. I would have a variable that is level, which is initially 1. Level is 1. Number of nodes that we have up till this point is, let's say, so am I clear till this point? Give me a quick one. First, tell me, give me a quick one. Am I clear till this point or not? Just give me a quick one. Okay, I should be clear. So let me just check. Okay. Now see. Now we would have a value known as. So let's just do it. Let's say we have a value known as res. What is this res? Res is nothing but the initial level. What is res? I would just write it. Res is the level. Current level. Res is the current level. Now we also have a value that is known as previous. Okay, कि पिछला number of nodes कितने थे. Okay, so we would also have something like previous. Okay, we would have something known as previous, which is number of nodes on last step. Okay, now the very next thing is sum, which is the total number of nodes up till now. We have something known as sum, which is nothing but total number of nodes up till now. Okay, now let's solve up this problem. The idea is very simple. Okay, we would start the iteration from the first node. See, यहाँ पे एक node था. Okay, the number of nodes on the current level is 1. So number of nodes on the previous level multiplied by level plus 1, which is equal to 2. So 1 plus 2, इतने number of nodes यहाँ पे रहेंगे. Number of nodes in here, that is 2, multiplied by 3. So 2 multiplied by 3, देखो 6 nodes है यहाँ पे. Okay, so basically all the previous nodes would produce level plus 1 child. Okay, हिंदी में समझा जाए तो अगर लास्ट लेवल में 5 लोग थे. ओके, लास्ट लेवल में 5 लोग थे, तो वो 5 लोग इस बार लेवल प्लस 1, हर एक लोग लेवल प्लस 1 चाइल्ड प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. तो इस करंट लेवल में 5 लोग मल्टीप्लाइड बाय लेवल प्लस 1, वो होगा इस नंबर ऑफ चाइल्ड्स. ओके, this is what we would do. Okay, so the idea is very simple. The number of the rest value is the current level. So the current level first, previous number of nodes, how many? 1 multiplied by previous, that is level. res हमें level बताता है. Level plus 1. Okay, level plus 1, that is 2. Okay, ये हो गया number of nodes in the current level. Okay, so number of nodes in the current level would be this. इस बार current level में इतने हैं. Current level would increase. Okay, and पिछले बार the number of node was 1. Now we have the number of nodes as 2. So पिछले बार 1 था, इस बार 2 आ गया. So sum total number of nodes कितना रहेगा? 1 plus 2. So 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. This would become 3. Now the very next step is number of nodes in the last step is 2. Okay, number of nodes in the last step is 2 multiplied by level plus 1. Level कितना है? 2. 2 plus 1, 3. Okay, so the number of nodes in the current step is 6. So we would update it. So it would become 6. Okay, and 3 plus 6. 3 plus 6 is equals to 9. अब level plus 1 that is 3. देख रहे हो कैसे we are having this. अब टोटल नंबर ऑफ सम कितना तक निकालते रहूंगा जब तक मुझे चाहिए. अगर मुझे 8 चाहिए होता तो मैं 9 पे रुक जाता. If I was in need of finding the level of 8, I would have stopped at 9. Okay, and the previous, let's see if it is correct or not. Okay, see, yes, the previous value contains 6, it ends at 9. Now let us do it for the last level. Okay, and you would understand the whole thing. अब क्या होगा? अब let's do the same scenario again. Like let's say let's take a very different color. Now अब क्या होगा? लेवल कितना है? 3 है. प्रीवियस कितने थे? 6. सो 6 लोग थे, लेवल था 3. सो इस बार 3 प्लस 1, 3 plus 1 4. 6 multiplied by 4 is equals to 24. So current level में कितने होंगे? 24. टोटल कितने हो गए? 9 plus 24 which is equals to 33. Okay, 24 plus 9 33. Yeah. Okay. Still ऑनलाइन में कभी कभी ना इतने बड़े स्टेज पे गलती हो जाती है. तो सिंपल भी. दिस इज हाउ वी आर एबल टू फाइंड एट ईच स्टेप. ओके, मुझे पता चल गया ये वाला 33 तक निकला, नेक्स्ट बार कुछ और तक निकलेगा. जब तक हम वो डिजायर्ड वैल्यू तक पहुंच नहीं जाते तब तक हम लोग ये चीज करते रहेंगे. सो हमें क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? हमें इंपॉर्टेंट है लेवल, क्योंकि लेवल बताएगा. पिछले नंबर ऑफ नोट्स भी इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि वही आगे जाके बच्चे लाएंगे. Okay, so this is how the answer is being calculated. Now quickly tell me if this thing is clear to you or not. Just give me a quick one and then we would move forward to the implementation. Quickly give me a one. By the way, Dipankar Yadav gave a very good solution. Okay, Dipankar Yadav gave a very good solution, but the knowledge of lower bound on the very first problem is not expected from a beginner. So I tried to keep it as simple as possible because I knew that the brute force would also be able to give me a correct answer. Okay, सबका हो गया? चलो, let's move forward to the implementation and that would solve the purpose. Level of node in a tree. Okay, so I'm a very lazy person, so I would make this to lowercase n so that I don't need to click the shift again and again. So I would say long previous. What is previous? Previous is, just see this. What is previous? I would just repeat. Previous is the current level. Okay, now we would have long res, which is equal to the current. So res is the current value and previous is the, so let me just write it. Previous is the nodes at res, node at current level. What is res? Res is current level. Okay, node is current level, and then we move forward to the total sum. So long sum, which is equal to 1 total nodes. Okay, now we would say we would keep moving forward until the total number of nodes are less than n. Total number of nodes are less than n. We would keep doing it. So first we would increment the level this time because level plus 1. Okay, and then we would add it to the sum. Sum plus is equals to res multiplied by previous previous. Okay, previous number of nodes multiplied by level plus 1. So level plus 1 हमने यहीं कर दिया, previous number of nodes यहीं कर दिया. Okay, or else what you can do is you can simply do something like this, and this would also solve the purpose. Okay, ये हो गया, and then we would move on. Number of nodes in the last step. multiplied by how much? Yes. Okay. This would give me the value to return this because we need to return the level. So we are doing that. Huh? So yes, yes, yes. I think this is causing the issue. Yep, it should be plus plus res. By the way, plus plus res. Okay. Yep. पहले इंक्रीमेंट करो फिर उसे यूज करो. Okay. This is the solution I would give you. Just tell me the line number at which you are not able to understand. Yep, done. Thanks a lot. So many a times I have said this. While you are just tell me the line number at which you are not able to understand. So many people are watching this. Many people are watching this. So I would tell you that. So don't ever tell anyone this because होता ये है ना कि जब आप इजी क्वेश्चन जब आपका इजी किसी और के लिए हार्ड है. सो आप जब पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके उसे इजी 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 समझा रहे हो ना तो अगले बंदे को सेल्फ डाउट होता है कि मुझसे इजी प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं हो रहा, इस बंदे को ये प्रॉब्लम इजी लग रहा है, मेरे हार्ड प्रॉब्लम इसको इजी लग रहा है. तो डोंट क्रिएट दैट परसेप्शन दैट दे आर नॉट गुड. Okay, even after doing competitive programming for a very long period of time, after teaching for 2.5 years and then being an SD, I am explaining that problem, taking the effort of explaining that problem in a very explicit manner. So I think you as a student can at least listen to me or just keep your phone on mute while I'm explaining the question number one. जस्ट वेट. क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता था, मेरे पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे बहुत खराब लगता था. मैं भी जब स्ट्रीम वगैरह देखता था तो उस टाइम थोड़ा पॉइंट मुझे थोड़ा डीमोटिवेटेड फील होता था. सो मुझे ऐसा लगा. ओके. So as I'm not trying to target anyone. I'm not trying to feel anything bad about you. It's just that I just don't like this. Okay, personal choice. You can do whatever you want. I am not. Okay, so fair enough. Let's move on to the next problem. So just give it a quick read. Okay, okay, okay. Count the number of sub-arrays. एक बार count the number of sub-arrays. Basically, I would just explain what is sub-arrays and everything. Okay. Okay. So now let's move forward to the explanation. I think we are good enough. चलो समझते हैं. चलो see. हो गया. Okay. So count the number of sub-arrays. Okay, so let me just find. Just me just copy the test cases. Okay. Now I would. Okay. So the test cases are so. This is just for my reference. हो रहा है, थोड़ा सा सबर रखो, कृपया सबर रखा जाए। जस्ट वेट अ सेक, हो जा यार, हो जा जल्दी जल्दी जल्दी। क्या होता है यार इसको कभी कभी। हो गया, चलो बढ़िया है। delete delete delete. So basically in this problem what you are told is, you are told Mhm. यार मेरा कर्सर ही नहीं दिख रहा। I got scared that do I need to just okay. So find the number of such that each subarray ends at each integers at the same integers. So I will just write down the test cases. Okay. पता नहीं आज दिन अच्छा नहीं। 2 1 3 1 2 1 3. The value of x is equals to 1 and k is equals to 2, and the output is 4. Okay, so start in the same integers and has exactly integer x k times. Okay, and has integer x k times. Okay, so there are basic various terminologies that needs to be understood of this problem. The very first terminology is what is basically a subarray. क्या है subarray? Subarray is nothing but a contiguous part of the array. Okay, let's say the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can say that this single element is also a subarray. Two elements are also subarray, three elements are also subarray, four elements are also subarray, and the whole array is also subarray. Okay, so basically you need to count subarray. Okay, so subarray kya hai? This is clear. Okay, now let's move back to this problem. What we are told that you need to count the subarrays. Now there are two constraints out of this. The very first constraint is start and end should have the same integer. Okay, start and end should have same integer. Should have same integer. And the very next thing is that it should have x exactly k number of times. X exactly k number of times. X exactly k times. Remember this, exactly k times means neither less neither more. Okay, so start and end with the same integer. Okay, so start and end with the same integer, and they have, so I can say that this is what I can see. Okay, so first let us see all the k is equals to 2, मतलब k 2 times तो होना ही चाहिए, तो सब एरे का साइज एटलीस्ट 2 तो होगा ही. ओके, सो पहला सब एरे क्या है? 2 1, this does not start and end at the same point. 1 3 does not start and end at the same point. 3 1 does not start and end at the same point. 1 2 does not start in the same point. So the very first way, even before seeing the solution, is that you can generate all subarrays, and return the valid ones, ये सबसे इजी है. सारे सब एरे ले लो, स्टार्ट और एंड देख लो वो सेम इंटीजर है कि नहीं, एक्स को एक बार गिन लो, एक्स अगर एग्जैक्टली के टाइम्स है तो रिटर्न कर दो, एल्स रिटर्न मत करो. दिस इज द इजीएस्ट सॉल्यूशन. बट टू फाइंड all possible subarrays, the task is that you need to have big of n square. Finding all possible subarrays is big of n square. So but big of n square is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because the number of elements are around 10 to the power 5, I think so. The number of elements यार आज लैपटॉप सही से परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा। आई थिंक मैंने रीस्टार्ट भी नहीं किया 2-3 मंथ से। क्या हो रहा है? Okay, just whatever. If the number of elements, I think the number of elements would be 10 to the power 5. We would see to it. So if it is 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 5, so 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 is equals to 10 to the power 10, which is greater than 10 to the power 8. So you would definitely get a time limit exceeded. Whatever the value is, just do it. Like, I'm mostly sure that this should be 10 to the power 5 क्योंकि यही basic idea रहता है problem setters का. I have not seen that problem very closely. Now the very next thing is कि answer इसमें होगा क्या? Now if I want to understand the sub arrays, सिद्धार्थ कौन से वैसे sub array है जो इस array से 4 निकाले हैं output अपने? Okay, let's see those also. Now see, the very first one is of start and end at the same integer and has x k number of times. देखो 131 में x 1 2 times है. So this is a perfect candidate for a sub array. So हमें मिल गया पहला candidate. Okay, the first candidate is 1 3 1. Okay, has 1 2 number of times. Okay, start and end at the same integer. Now 3 1 2 नहीं होगा, 1 2 1. Again we have 1 2 1 which starts and end at the same place, and the number of ones are exactly 2. So this is correct. Now we have 1 2 1. Okay, now we have 2 1 3, which is also not correct. So now we would see 4 values. So 2 1 3 1 1 3 3 2 3 1 2 1 नहीं, 3 1 2 1 भी नहीं होगा, 1 2 1 3. This is also not correct. 5 elements. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. This is a good variable. Okay, this is a good variable. This would be 2 1 3 1 2. Okay, start and end at the same integer, has 1 2 times. Okay, now the very next thing is 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and has 1 3 times. So this is not valid. Then we have 3 1 2 1 3. So this is 3 1 2 1 3 has 1 2 times and start and end with the same integer. So I can say 3 1 2 1 3. This is how the values are coming from. So am I clear with the test case? Am I clear with the problem statement? Problem statement काफी अच्छे थे. Okay, just tell me if I'm clear with this idea or not. Just give me a clear idea. क्लियर हुआ आपको? जल्दी जल्दी बताना. थोड़ा सा कमेंट्स वगैरह देख ले. थैंक यू सो मच टेक्नोलॉजिकल विवेक. हीप इज गिविंग टीएलई फॉर क्वेश्चन 3. एनीवन हु कैन हेल्प? आई यूज्ड हिप, सो मैं ही हेल्प कर दूंगा आपका. ओके, so in my approach I should work how Python is slow anyway get accepted. Yes, I tried, didn't get the meaning. It was a tricky question. हिंदी में समझाओ, इंग्लिश क्लियर नहीं लग रहा. हिंदी में, अर्थात हिंदी में समझाया जाए तो हो ये रहा है कि आपको सब एरे जो सेम एलिमेंट से शुरुआत हो रही है और सेम एलिमेंट पे खत्म हो रही है और उसमें एक्स के बार आ रही है, एग्जैक्टली के बार प्रेजेंट है, वो सारे एलिमेंट्स, वो सारे सब एरे आंसर में कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे और हमें उनकी गिनती प्रदान करनी है सॉल्यूशन में. काफी अच्छा हिंदी है, झारखंड से हूँ ना. ओके, फेयर एनफ. So see, the idea is, see, 1 3 1 starts and ends at the same value. 1 2 1 starts and ends at the same value. 1 is present 2 times. 1 is present 2 times, starts and ends at the same value. So this is correct. Okay, fair enough. So सर एक और बार हिंदी. अब हिंदी अच्छा लगा? ओके, चलो अच्छा. सर ना बुलाया करो यार, उतना बूढ़ा नहीं हूं मैं. ओके, फेयर एनफ. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now how to solve up this problem. So we already know that the brute force is not going to work. So how do we really need to solve up this problem? कुछ सोचते हैं अच्छा. Okay, so the idea can be, अगर आप देखोगे, so start and end at the same integer. Okay, क्या क्या intuition, what are the different conclusions that you can draw? Okay, the very first conclusion is start and end at the same number. Okay, this one, start and end at the same integer, ये हुआ. इसका मतलब the values are important. Okay, the values are important. Now I would show you a different scenario also. Let's say this is 1 1. Okay, this is 2 2, this is 3 3. If you observe, if you observe that this whole, so let's just take the same consideration, that the value of x is equals to 1 and k is equals to 2. So if you observe कि if I consider this whole part, यहाँ पे भी x दो बार है. Okay, और start और end same value पे हो रही है. What I want to convey is that here x is present two times. Okay, x is present two times and it starts and ends with the same value. Okay, now if you see one more thing, that 2 and 2, this is also starts and end at the same value. Okay, and the count of k is 2. So the elements apart from x would also contribute to the answer. Okay, ये हमें ये बताता है. Okay, हमें ये बताता है कि बाकी एलिमेंट्स भी अलग अलग आंसर कंसिडर करवाते हैं हमें. Okay, अलग अलग आंसर लाके देते हैं. So every value is important, not just x. हमें यहाँ ये पता चलता है. This is the first observation that we can make. Okay, so now what we can do is, let's say we have these two values also as 2 and 2. So how many subarrays do we really have? Okay, यहाँ पे हमें पता है the count of 1 is how much? 2. The count of 1 is 2. So यहाँ पे एक सब array ये हो जाएगा. Okay, एक सब array ये हो जाएगा, एक सब array ये हो जाएगा and एक सब array ये हो जाएगा. Okay, so how many total sub arrays were there? Okay, the very first one was 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, then 5. So what we would do is we would kind of build up a solution. Okay, हमें पता चल गया. So and we are told that the number of subarrays can be very large. So we need to return it modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. हमें इतना पता है. So what we would do is we would count and keep the frequency. Count and keep the frequency. इतना तो हमें पता चल गया. The frequency of each of the element is very important. Okay, so value is important है. We would count the frequency. Now the idea is just to store number of valid subarray which ends at I. अगर हम लोग हर पॉइंट का ऐसा ऐसा निकाल ले और समेशन कर ले हर एक पॉइंट का, we would get the ultimate answer. We would get the large picture. Large picture क्या है? Ultimate answer, total number of subarrays. Okay, if we are able to calculate number of valid subarrays which ends at I, then we would get the ultimate answer, which is the total number of subarrays. If somehow we can do this. So the idea is, just let us take the same example. Okay, let us take the same example. Okay, let us take the same example. Same example लेके अब बढ़ते हैं आगे. Okay. So what we would do is we would have, okay, we would have a map. Okay, we would have a map, proper map, and we would increment the count of that. Okay, so एक map लेंगे जो पेयर मतलब यहाँ पे पेयर कॉमा फ्रीक्वेंसी. ओके, पेयर कॉमा इंटीजर रहेगा, उसका नेचर पेयर कॉमा इंटीजर रहेगा. ओके, and we would initialize a count with 0. Okay, we would initialize a count with 0, and then we would have answer is equals to 0. Okay, so now we come to the very first element. It is not equal to x. It is not equal to x. So we would go to the map. Okay, यहाँ पे map का values रखते हैं. We would go to the map. हम लोग map पे जाएंगे. Map में value 2 है. Count का कितना value? यहाँ पे count रहेगा, यहाँ पे a of I रहेगा, और यहाँ पे we would increment. Okay, so we can say the value 2 and count. So current element 2 है, count का value 0 है, and we would increment that by 1. Okay, we would increment that by 1. Okay, now we would add it to the answer. कैसे answer होगा? Answer is equals to a of I. Okay, a of I, a of I comma, okay, we would go till the value count minus k. Okay, what is, suppose the count is, let's, okay, we at this point we would don't do anything, let's just leave, we would understand this. अब यहाँ पे आए, when we are at this point we found the value x, so we would increment the value of count. Okay, we found the value x and we incremented the value of count. At this point what we would do is we would go to element 1, we would have the value of count, the count is also 1, and we would increment that value. If the value is also already present, we would increment that value. If the value is not present, it is initialized. This is what we do. Now this value is equal to x. Okay, so अब हमें पता है कि let's say this is 1 1 1, this is 1 1 1. If this is 1 1 1, how many subarrays can we produce? We can produce 1 and we can produce 2. कैसे पता चल रहा है? Total number of elements minus. So यहाँ पे let's say we have 1 1 1. So how many subarrays are there which start and ends with the same element and has 1 exactly 2 number of times? That is just 1 2 1 and 2. So कैसे हुआ? How we are having this? So 1 and 2 क्या होता है? 1 and 2 is nothing but frequency. Frequency कितना था? 3. 3 minus the value of k, that is 2 plus 1. इससे value आ जाती है. What is that? Let's just take 1 1 1 and just count the number of subarrays we can produce by that. Okay, so what if the current value is equals to the value of x? We would say that the formula is, if current value is equal to x, the formula is how much? Count minus k plus 1. So यहाँ पे 3 minus 2 plus 1, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, 1 plus 1 that is 2. यहाँ पे हमें ये पता चल गया. So यहाँ पे भी वही करेंगे, count, okay, count minus k, count is 1, 1 minus k is equals to 2. So 1 minus 2 plus 1. 1 minus 2 plus 1 is equals to 0, and 0 would get added to the answer itself. Okay, Now we would move forward to the third one. Okay, now we would move forward to the third one. Let me see if I'm presenting my screen or not. Yep, I am presenting. Okay, bottom left is hidden because of your camera. Wait a sec. Mm, 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 mm. Just no, this won't be hidden. ओके, अब चलेगा, चलो बढ़िया. Okay, so now we have 3. Okay, so 3 and 3 and then count. Okay, 3 and count का वैल्यू कितना है? काउंट का वैल्यू 1 है. 3 and count is equals to 1, and it is not already present, so we would initialize that with 1. Now यहाँ पे again we would try to find the answer. इस बार में how we would find the answer, I would tell you that. जितना number of sub arrays last time था, let's say this is 1 1 1, and now this is, let's say, 2, and let's say this is again 2. The total number of sub arrays would be the count earlier. See, one sub array can be there. How many sub arrays end at this position? The number of sub arrays that end at this position is just 1. That is, पिछला number of sub arrays यहाँ count minus k plus 1 किया. अगर the value is not equal to x, then we can simply just subtract 1 from it. Subtract 1 मतलब क्या? Plus 1 minus 1 मतलब count minus k. Okay, so now we would say क्या होगा? Now we would say count कितना है? 1. 1 minus k कितना है? 2. That is equal to minus 1. Okay, that is equal to minus 1 to the answer. So we would add minus 1 to the answer. Okay, we have added minus 1 to the answer. We would see how this is working. Minus 1 add ho gaya at this point. Now we come at this point. Okay, we are coming at this point. Now let us see what is the value at the current level. So now count it would be increased by 1 because this is equal to x. So count would become 2. Now 2, so 1, the element dash count. So element is 1. 1 dash 2 kahin hai? No. So 1 dash 2 comma 1. Okay, 1 dash 2 comma 1. It would be initialized with this value. Okay, fair enough. Do I make sense? Okay, 1 comma 2 dash 1. Now after this point, this current element is equals to x. Okay, this current element is equal to x. So at this point we need to have kya? Count minus k plus 1. What is the value of count? Count is 2. 2 minus 2 plus 1, which is equal to 1. So now this value would become minus 1 plus 1 would value, this value would become 0 at this point. Okay, at this point this would become 0. So just this would become very long, and it is already 9:22. So this is what we would do. We would simply store out the values like this. Okay, we would simply store out the values like this. Whenever we receive a value x, we would count the number of integers at that point. What is the intuition for that? Count minus k plus 1. Count minus k plus 1, what is the intuition? Let me just show you that also. क्यों क्या कर रहे हैं? This map is used to store the count and the current element. Okay, and the next value is count minus k plus 1 is nothing but something like this. Like let's say the value is 1 1 1. So the number of elements, so the count would be 3, and the value of k is equals to 2. I want k 1 2 times, and count is equals to 3. So count kitna hai? 3. 3 minus 2 plus 1, which is equals to 2. And yes, we have 2 sub arrays which can be produced which have exactly two occurrence of 1. Okay. Now the question is, why count minus k if that value is not equal to that value? So let's say the value is 112. Okay, 112. So at this point, if you observe, again still the value would be 2. So whatever the value we are getting from this point, just subtract 1 from it, and count minus k plus 1 minus 1 कर देंगे, so that would become this. Plus 1 minus 1 लिख सकते हो, but that would be very redundant. Just don't add anything, and then we would just do modulo at each step. This would be done. Simple the solution. Sir, you are very grounded. Be like this always. ऐसा नहीं है bro. It's just that I came from very rock bottom of my life. Okay, like I live in, like, if you're like, I live in, like, I belong from Jharkhand. Jharkhand, like earlier, Jharkhand and Bihar were same. Jharkhand has little. Okay, so what happened was, so my father and mother were teacher, so they did a lot of hard work. Kala paisa to tha nahi. So I just, and I was not a person who used to study and is like who used to do hard work in his early phase of life. So इसीलिए मुझे पता. Okay. So, can you please explain the intuition behind c minus 1 plus login again? I have already explained 2 times. So consider just doing it on a pen and paper. Like, after doing it 2 times, me doing third time won't help you, I think so. You should do yourself on pen and paper. Even after this, if you're not able to understand, make sure you ask me. Your voice is cracking. Let me just see. How much is the speed? Speed is good enough. It shouldn't crack at this point. अब नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay. Can we approach this question by sliding window? Now let's clear some doubts. Can we approach this question by sliding window and map? Yes, you can. I don't know if the solution exists, but I don't think this would work. Why? Because sliding window works when the subarray size is fixed. If it was mentioned that find all the subarrays of size k, then this would have worked beautifully. But the size of the subarray can be 1 also, can be 5 also, can be 7 also. That is why I don't think sliding window would work. Okay. So, any more questions to practice this approach? Added contribution answer in the subarray question. Any more questions to practice? Just practice a little more of DP. I think like this is a kind of DP solution. Many people have like, sir, हम sliding window use कर सकते हैं क्या? No, we can't use sliding window. I think so. Okay, sliding window can you? No, sir, it's fine. Not now. Okay. Okay, so काफी easy सा approach है. The just number of subarrays ending at that position. Okay, चलो अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let me make it big by just presenting. Can we find through variable sliding window? Variable sliding window is 2 pointers. So just use 2 pointers. Variable sliding window को ही तो 2 pointers बोलता है. बस 2 pointers use कर लो. और क्या? To be honest, this can be solved using 2 pointers. But I was trying to find an easy solution to this problem. That's why I came up with this. Okay. Very lazy person. So would use, instead of ARR, would use just this and this. Up shift key koi chinta nahi. Okay. Now we would say int. So I would do int, like const int n. Okay. Int m is equals to 1e9 plus 7 because we need to do modulo operation at each step. Now I need a map of pair of int comma int. Okay, and then to store the frequency, that would also be int, and then I would name it as the array m. Okay, because map hai to array m kar do. Count initially would be equal to 0, and then we have then we have something like long answer is equal to 0. Initially the answer would be 0. Now we would iterate on each of the index because we would find the number of sub-arrays ending at that current position. Now if the current value is equal to x, then we would increase the value of the count कि हमें एक और मुर्गा मिल गया, okay, इसके admission करवाओ, okay, and then we would increment the value, that is current element count plus plus. Current element is a of I, count is equals to cnt, and then we would increment the value of count. हो गया इतना? अब current element is equals to, if it is equals to the value x, then answer is equals to answer plus how much m of, that is x comma, okay, count minus k plus 1, okay, count minus k plus 1, and then we would use the modulo operation. But after this, if it is not equal to x, we would do the same thing, just subtract 1 from it, plus 1 minus 1, which is equals to nothing. हो गया? And then after all this point of time, we would return the value of the answer itself. Now we would use the modulo operation to m modulo m. This should work, I think so. Okay. If the count is equals to x, we are increasing the count. Okay, we are increasing the count. After that, we are incrementing the count. If that value is equals to x, then okay, I just copied it, and this one would be the current elements. This should give me copy pasting a mistake हो गया, ज़्यादा copy pasting नहीं करनी. Okay. Now I would copy this solution. The solution would, I think so, give me AC. Just give me an AC. Copy the solution. Provide you the solution. Avash karo. Okay. Just wait a sec. I got the link. Just see. Okay. झारखंड में कहाँ से हो सर? धनबाद से हूँ. जहाँ पे वासेपुर है. Okay. Fair enough, but currently I'm not in Jharkhand. Okay, I use map, store every value of the index and the prefix count of x, then use lower bound. Yep, this is kind of, this solution is a kind of refined version of your solution. An easy version, a easy solution from your solution would be this solution. This solution is also good. You got an AC mostly. Sir, please provide a solution using sliding window at the end of the explanation. Sliding window, this problem can't be solved using sliding window. This problem can be solved using variable sliding window. But variable sliding window doesn't exist a concept like that. It is basically 2 pointers. So yes, this problem can be solved using 2 pointers. But it is not feasible to just explain two approach. I have already I've been already speaking for continuously 1 hour. Then one last problem is also left. Sir, I live in Noida. I do live in Noida. Thank you so much, Valentin. Is it line sweep line algorithm? Kind of. Like, it is inspired from sweep line algorithm, I can say. This solution is kind of inspired from sweep line algorithm. Just tell me the line number at which you are not able to understand. I don't think that would happen. So last wala problem is a problem which can be understood a little bit easily. Okay. So just give me a quick one that this is done, and I would move forward to the last problem. Last problem का easy solution है. Very depressed, sir. Intern tests are 1 month to go, but not feeling confident. See, the point is कि आपके डिप्रेशन से क्या ही सॉल्व हो जाएगा. What problem would be solved by you having depression? So at this point, you just do something which you love, and rest all other time, just do the hustle. Okay, the hustle is on your part, the winning or losing is on God's part. तो just leave it. उतना मत सोचो. अरे बहुत लाइफ है भाई. इंटर्न के लिए 1 मंथ बाकी है, फुल टाइम के लिए 1 साल बाकी है, लाइफ में तो और ज्यादा साल बाकी है. उतना मत अभी से लोड लो भाई, होते रहेगा आराम से. Okay, the clock of everyone is different. Okay, so now just quickly read this problem. I think it is good to go. Okay, अब this problem, I will just explain this problem. I don't think visualization is needed. Okay, हो हो यहाँ पे ये रहा है कि let's say I have, let me explain this. Okay, so yep, अब काम कर रहा. The good news, the copy pasting is now working across the device. I'm very happy. Okay, so now let me just present the screen. This text is just for my reference, so let me just explain you what this is all about. Let's say the thing is, let's say this is me, Siddharth Hazra, and I don't really do any work or something. Like, I'm a very villa kind of person. What do you mean by villa? A person who is very free, who has a lot of free time, is kind of termed as villa in Hindi. Okay, so basically the thing is, let's say I'm a very villa person, and then I have multiple number of girlfriends. Okay, let's say I have multiple number of girlfriends. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have seen this movie, but kind of when I saw this question, I just, the whole plot of Garam Masala gave me a hit. I don't know how many of you have watched that movie, but that movie is kind of basically this story only. So what happens is, in, I would just tell you the idea of Garam Masala. In that film, Akshay Kumar has a lot of girlfriends. Okay, and they basically are all air hostesses. Okay, they are all air hostesses, and each plane has a certain time of arrival and a certain time of departure. So that film is all about Akshay Kumar managing all his girlfriend. Like, it's a very fun film to watch. You can give it a watch, to be honest. But I would just explain the scenario so that this problem can be explained further. Okay, so the idea is that each of his girlfriend has a arrival time and departure time, and in one day, in one day, he can meet at max k girlfriends. Okay, okay, he can meet at max k of his girlfriend. Now, one girlfriend, okay, at one I can meet one girlfriend, so at max वो एक दिन में k girlfriend मिल सकता है. So now I need to tell that what is the max, given the arrival and the departure time of each of the day, what is the maximum number of girlfriend Akshay Kumar can meet in Garam Masala film. Okay, so this is just this idea talking about the sample test case. So sample test case is, if n is equals to 3 and k is equals to 1, then what is the, wait, let me just quickly write it. So I have 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, so the answer is 2. Okay, so let's say कि Akshay Kumar has 3 girlfriend, like just like in the Garam Masala movie. He had more than 3 girlfriends in that movie. Let me be very precise. Okay, so Akshay Kumar can meet only one girlfriend each day. Okay, so the arrival and the departure is 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Okay, so what he can do is, on day one, he can, on the first day, he can meet up this girlfriend, and on the second day he can meet up this girlfriend. He has no days left. One is already occupied, two is already occupied. So this girlfriend needs to return back to the next flight, and he can't meet Akshay Kumar. Okay, that is why the answer to this value is 2 itself. Okay, so just give me a quick one if the sample test case, the whole idea is clear to you or not. Just give me a quick one. Mhm. Just give me a quick one. Okay, my contest got terminated for tab switching while coding in VS Code. No problem, bro. No problem, bro. Next time don't do it. It's fine. But I clicked by mistake on another. ऐसा हो रहा है? I don't really know. ऐसा मत बोलो सर, आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड से लड़ाई हो जाएगी आज आपकी. Okay. Garam Masala, Akshay Kumar and John Abraham. Yes, John Abraham was that friend, and Akshay Kumar was the person who used to switch between girlfriends. Okay, okay. हो गया? Fair enough. Now let's move back to the next. Like let's move back to this problem. Okay. So I don't know how many of you have solved up solve up these all problems if you didn't got the intuition for the last problem. End meetings in a room. Okay. Minimum platforms. Minimum platforms basically solve the problem of greedy. Okay. And job sequencing problem. Job sequencing problem. These all problem use the same concept that has been used like interval, departure, arrival, departure, arrival, departure. Now, let's just think in this scenario. Okay. So we are given, so what we can really do is we have the arrival and then we have the departure time. Okay. We have the arrival and then we have the departure time. So what we can do is we can simply sort based on the arrival time. So what we would do is simply sort based on arrival. Based on arrival. Why are we doing this? इसका क्या reason है? Let us just see this idea. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because let's say the value is 1 2, next the value would be 2 3, next the value would be 3 4, next the value would be 5 6. So we don't really need to, like, if we don't sort it this would also work, but यहाँ पे हमें ये पता चल गया this would be day 1 and the next would be day 2, third would be day 3, fourth would be day 5. That is why sorting is required, so that we don't need to hash the values that yes, this value I have met, this day I have met. Okay, so basically sorting is required for this. After this point, we would initialize a day variable which is initially equal to 0. Okay, and we would use a priority queue. We would use a priority queue for this. Okay, and in the priority queue, we would insert, like, if you had been on the place of Akshay Kumar, or let's say man, okay, if I had been on the place of Akshay Kumar, I would have first sorted it based on the arrival, and then I would have focused on the people who were leaving first. Okay, why are I would focus on the people who would leave first? Because it might be a scenario that, let's say, this person would leave at 3 2 and 3, and this person would leave at 4 to 6. So if I prioritize on meeting this person, then it might be a scenario कि मैं इससे मिल ही नहीं पाऊँ. So it's very simple. जिसको घर जल्दी जाना है उससे पहले मिल लो. ओके, सो दैट आप एक भी इंपॉर्टेंट कस्टमर मिस ना कर पाओ और जो ज्यादा से ज्यादा कस्टमर आप सर्व कर पाओ. लेट्स से द इंट्यूशन इज वेरी सिंपल. If you are on a shop and there are n number of customers and you want to serve maximum number of customers, and each customer has their own arrival and departure time, so you as a shopkeeper ask the customer that who needs to go early first, let me give them first. In that manner he would be able to give maximum number of people their service. It's very simple. The intuition is very simple like this. This happens in real life also. That is why I don't think that a lot of intuition is required. इंट्यूशन इज वेरी सिंपल, जिसको पहले जाना भैया बता दो किसको पहले जाना, मैं उसे पहले उसका ऑर्डर दे दूं. Okay, this thing is very simple like this. That is why I would insert on the priority queue based on the end time of that. Okay, and जिसका end time कम है वो सबसे ऊपर होना चाहिए. So I require a min heap where I would insert the end time, where I would insert the end time of that. Okay, now it's very simple. At each day, we would just process k values. K values के बाद जो बच गया at that day, we would remove those values, and after that we would be able to serve the maximum number of customers. Then I would show you a small bit of a use case of one more thing. So let's start at this point. एक trick बताऊंगा. Okay, and that trick would be very much useful for this. So we require a min heap priority queue. So let's search for priority queue code in C++, and then after that min heap चाहिए. So the priority queue of min heap is something like this. Okay, don't worry, I would teach you something. कुछ ना कुछ तो सीखोगे, even if the solution has kind of gave you a structure. Okay, priority queue, this is done. After this point, so okay, यहाँ पे आ गए. Now what we would do at this point. Okay, we are given the value of n, given the value of k. Start के जगह we would just use st, and instead of end we would just use ed. Okay, to make code a little bit easy to implement. Okay, like a faster way, because I can't write that much. For int I is equals to 0, I is less than none, and I plus plus. Okay, now what I would do is I would insert them in a vector of pair so that I can sort them according to the start time. Okay, because these two arrays are independent, so I would just pair them up and insert them in a vector of pairs. So vector of pair of int comma int. Okay, and name it as vector of pairs, and the size would be just n. Okay, v of p of I is equals to make pair sti comma edi, and this is done. After all this is done, we would simply sort it. By default, it sorts according to the first element. First element means what? Start time. So it is doing the correct thing. So vector of pairs dot begin comma st dot end. Okay, and this is done. After this point, we would initialize a variable known as int answer is equals to 0 after this point, and then we would also initialize int I is equals to 0, and then day is equals to 1. Okay, now initially the priority queue is, while the priority queue is not empty, while the priority queue is not empty, और ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि कुछ एलिमेंट्स प्रोसेस करने बाकी है. Okay, while I is less than n. Okay, so first I would see if pq dot size, if the priority queue doesn't contains any element, that means, okay, that just means that we are on the day 1 and we have not done anything. So first we need to initialize the day. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि यहाँ पे 1 2 1 2 1 2. It might be a scenario that it doesn't starts from 1, it starts from 5 6 5 6 5 6. So the day from where we would start is 5. So in that scenario, this day d is equals to 1 would give you a wrong answer. So for that scenario, we would say that d is equals to vp dot I dot first. I dot first क्या था? First element का starting point. Okay, what was vp I dot first? It was the earliest starting arrival of all the people. Okay, now after this we are done, and next we would say that while, like, we have inserted, while I is less than n, like we have some elements to process, and the current element vp dot I is vp dot I dot first is less than equal to d. पहले हम लोग क्या करेंगे, what are we basically doing at this point? Insert all the values in priority queue which can meet at D. Okay, we are inserting all the values of the priority queue which can meet at the dth value. So while we have elements to process and the arrival time is less than D, so if the arrival time is less than D, we can meet at D. Okay, vp dot first is, so we would insert them in the priority queue. vq dot insert, sorry, push, this is not a set. So we would insert the, जिसको जल्दी जाना है वो बता दो. So we need the departure time. So vp dot I dot second. Okay, after that point of time we would increment the value, like we have used this value, so I plus plus after this point. Now we would initialize a counter variable. How many people have we met on this current day? Akshay Kumar is very disciplined also. He is very cunning as well as a very disciplined person. He knows that I would meet K girlfriend. So he would keep a count at a particular day how many girlfriends I have met up till now. So this just means that how many GFs have been met up till now. Okay, ये हो गया. And then I would say जब तक कुछ elements बाकी है, it might be a scenario that Akshay Kumar has a bandwidth of meeting 100 girlfriends, but it doesn't have 100 girlfriends which are available on the particular day. So first would be that while we have some girlfriends to process, and the very next thing is count is less than equal to k, that he has some bandwidth to meet. Then we would say pq.pop, Akshay Kumar would meet this person, and then if he meets that person, then the answer variable would increase, and then of course the count would also increase, that he has met one girlfriend on this particular day. After this, either the girlfriends would exhaust or either his capacity would exhaust. So in both the scenarios, he can't meet more. So at this point, I need to go to the next day, because either कोई गर्लफ्रेंड अवेलेबल नहीं होगी या either उसका bandwidth ही खत्म हो गया होगा. Okay, so we need to go on the next day. After that point, if we have some people which are still there on the database, okay, like we have some still old data, okay, if we have some still old data which has a departure time less than D, वो last वाले D तो चले गए. अब टुडे इज 2 जुलाई तक जितनी गर्लफ्रेंड अवेलेबल थी उन सबको अब हटाना होगा रिकॉर्ड से. दैट इज वाई pq.pop. Okay, now at this point we would return the value of answer. Was it like let me just see if I'm making a mistake or not. Yes, a lot of okay, I just wrote everything in the Java compiler. Badhiya. This is me, Siddharth Hazra. Okay, now it is compile and run. Implementing a C++ solution, selecting the Java language. Okay, क्या mistake करी है हमने? M and K. So what is the compilation error? A request for end. vp.become. Okay, this should be vp only. vp.end, not st. We don't have anything. Now let us see. Okay, more compilation errors. अब कहाँ है? The no error matching for function call for friends. I would just copy this. Then I would just go this C++. It might be a scenario that the naming convention is different. Okay, this and this is K. This is what? ST, इसको ST रखा था. This is ED. Okay. Now let us just see. Okay, now we got an error. Now we would process this error at this point. We have vp.end, start is equals to end. We have sorted the array. Int I is equals to 0, while pq is not equal to empty, or y I is less than n. If we have something to process, if pq dot size is equal to 0, that means it would be not. That means we don't have any size. This is the first mistake where I found out that if it is empty, then we would initialize while I is less than n, vp dot first is, and then we would push vp dot I dot second int cnt is equals to 0 while it is not empty and count is less than k. Pq dot pop answer plus plus count plus plus d plus plus while we don't have any elements, and while we have some elements to process and the elements are less than b, then only we would pop, else we won't pop. This should give me a correct answer. Basically it was simply that the mistake was that कुछ elements रहने चाहिए और वो elements past के date पे मिलने चाहिए. So this was just becoming or operation. That is why even if this was true, this was getting popped. But दोनों condition true होना चाहिए ना. So now I would just copy paste the solution. Now you would tell me like I had a small issue of mine. Okay, just let me give you a hack to this. Okay, absolutely, this what happens. This is a very famous technique of greedy. Okay, now so the very next thing is, now you would say, so like it happened with me, so I'm just sharing a trick with you which I learned from a famous sympathetic programmer. The trick is, many a times we forget the syntax of priority queue. Of this is what min heap. Okay, and if we implement max heap, okay, if we implement max heap, the priority key in that scenario, it is very easy, just int pq. Okay, so we can remember the syntax of max heap, but we don't really remember the syntax of min heap. Okay, this happens a lot. Okay, I don't know how many of you have faced this, but this used to happen with me. And what happens is, if we switch the tabs, okay, in an online judge, get you would get a discard or something. So simple hack would be to convert max heap to min heap. Okay, how to do that? See, I don't really remember the solution. I'm not a fan of remembering things a lot. Okay, so what needs to be done is, just before inserting, okay, pq dot push, just multiply it with -1. Okay, multiply it with -1, and that would solve the purpose. And after taking it out, again multiply -1 multiplied by this. So like, before inserting that value, multiply it with -1. After taking out the value, again multiply it with -1 so that the original value is retrieved. And by doing this, you can just convert max heap to min heap. How I would tell you that, but just see how this is working. So let me just see. कहीं और use हो रहा है यहाँ पे. I have inserted multiplying it with this pq dot pop answer pq dot empty, and this is done. Compile and run. See. See, max heap is converted to min heap. Now let me explain you how this is working. Okay, how this is working, let me explain you that also. This is a small trick and it comes very handy. Like, the idea is very simple. Let's say we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if we insert it in a max heap by multiplying it with minus 1. So this would become minus 5. This would become minus 5. Now if we insert 4 after multiplying it with minus 1, this would be ranked above. Okay, this would be ranked above, this would be ranked above, this would be ranked above. Now if you observe, we have the element, like the top element who is now minus 1. So we have the minimum element. The only problem is that it has a minus value appended to it. So upper wala value uthao, it would give you the minimum value. To get the original value, just multiply it with minus 1 again, and that would give you the original value. So this is how a small trick, okay, a small trick, but comes very handy because the syntax of priority queue, min heap priority queue, is a little bit long and it is a little bit difficult to remember. Okay, so am I clear with this? So if you liked the last trick, okay, to be honest, I was very impressed with this small trick which saves a lot of time and I don't need to mug up the syntax in my mind. So I loved this small trick earlier. So you can also use this trick. So if you are a person who was able to comprehend something out of this, you learned something new, consider commenting on the video and leaving a feedback for me so that I can have a smile on my face. So you can, and you need to like this video too. You need to do this, please. Okay, so that's it for today. So if you're watching the stream in the recorded version, make sure you like and comment on the video so that this work could be justified. That's it. I'm going to have my dinner. Make sure you have yours too. Good night, everyone. Take care.